Welcome to Email Einstein, a podcast by Flowium. It's time to start honoring your inner marketing Einstein. Tune in for the data-driven tips that'll make you a marketing genius. Here, you'll find email marketing formulas and tips straight from the brilliant mad scientists at Flowium. It's time for your emails to start earning more money. It's time to unleash your Einstein.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Email Einstein by Flowium. I'm your host, Vera Sadlak. I'm an email marketer at an agency called Flowium. And we are very passionate about email marketing, obviously, because we love what we do. We want to share our insights with you. Flowium is one of the fastest growing email marketing agencies in the world. And here on this podcast, we share our insights with you. We share our email marketing tips and tried and true strategies. We're all about delivering the right message to the right person at the right moment. And that's what we will be talking about today on this podcast. Today's podcast will be a bit different. Usually we record this like longer kind of sessions, but today it's going to be short and sweet and to the point, and we will be talking about tried and true SMS marketing strategies that you can honestly try implementing like right away after this podcast. So I want to give you 5 actionable tips today, 5 actionable strategies that you can try today to bring your SMS marketing to like next level. And you guys, we already discussed it. You may like SMS, you may not like SMS, but you cannot deny that it's freaking powerful, that SMS is here to stay. And I mean, with open rates like 98% plus, you know that this is a powerful tool if you know how to use it correctly. So here are our tried and true 5 strategies. So tip number one, and it's very, very important. Don't go over 160 characters. 160 characters is an important number for you to remember when you're doing SMS. It can basically redefine the language of SMS quite literally, because you need to remember that 160 is a max, and that's including your opt-out language. Mobile networks will break your SMS into like smaller SMSs or like smaller messages if you go over 160 characters. Some would not even like deliver. They will refuse to carry long text, and the slicing can be very like inconsistent. So try to fit in the 160 characters or less. That's very, very important. And yes, when you're sending MMS, you have more characters, but still, I would recommend you to stay under that like 160 characters limit to make sure that your SMS will be delivered in full. You don't want to deliver the first part of the message and then the second part get lost or something. You don't want that to happen. It's very important to stay under 160 characters. So that's your tip number 1. Stay under 160 characters, ideally less, and that must include your opt-out language. So the message itself is usually around like 100 characters, I'd say. Anyways, that's what we do internally at Flowium. Tip number 2. That's going to be a quick podcast, right? Tip number 2, have SMS only exclusives. Well, SMS is normally a channel that is reserved primarily for friends and family. And if someone gave you their SMS information or their mobile number, it means if they want to accept your email marketing from you, that's like a huge stamp of approval and appreciation to you as a brand. So that's big one. If you got someone's mobile number, good for you. You're doing something right. But remember, when people are giving you their mobile number, they expect some sort of like exclusivity, right? In exchange for their mobile number information. And that's something that you can certainly do. You can, first of all, deliver exclusive SMS only offers. That's what we do with our clients anyways. You promise them to give them early access to the sales, SMS only sales and stuff like that, just to make sure that they feel special, because in a way they are your VIPs. They gave you a huge stamp of approval. They are your VIPs, right? But also something that we've been practicing quite a lot with our clients is that we are given an exclusive behind the scenes look with this SMSs. So you can do something like the video from the factory, or maybe you can do the message from the founder, or maybe you can introduce them to your team. Exclusivity and behind the scenes looks, they tap into the idea that customer is an insider, that your SMS customer is an insider, and it helps you to build that unique relationship with the brand. So tip number 2, again, have SMS only exclusives. That's super important. Tip number 3, send SMS on weekdays only. And that's something that, a lot of brands are struggling with, the send time. Everyone wants to know that magic time, when is the best time to send the message. There is no magical number or magical formula I can give you to make sure that you are delivering the message on the best time possible, because this number is this time is very unique to each brand specifically. But there are few things that you cannot do. Well, sending the SMS in the middle of the night is off limits, just because SMS is a very personal mean of communication, right? And you don't want to exhaust your customers with this random promotions in the middle of the night. So be careful with that. I wouldn't send SMS on weekend per se, unless it's some sort of a big promotion that is happening that you need to specifically talk to them on weekend. I would stay away from sending the SMS after 8 p.m. And I would stay away from sending SMS at night and on the weekends as well. Is there a day of the week in which SMS recipients are particularly happy to hear from you? Not really. And while we didn't see a big difference, generally speaking, Mondays are slow. So I would say Mondays are probably the worst time to send your SMS promotion. But also Tuesdays are so-so. I would say that Thursday, Wednesday were the best days for me. And we saw the biggest click-through rate averages on this day. So I'd say midday Tuesday to Thursday would be your best bets. Stay away from weekends, stay away from times after 8 p.m. So here you have your tip number 3, send SMS on weekdays only. Now, tip number 4, make your SMS conversational. So with engagement rates as high as 98%, SMS is it's probably one of the most essential tool for digital marketeers these days. So you do want to make it more conversational than, for example, email. If you're using Klaviyo, definitely enable two-way communication and make sure to respond to those messages where people inquire about specifics of your promotion, or they just want to talk to a real person. Yes, you can do the automations, sort of a messenger kind of bot, if you will. So this automations will help you to make this SMS process more conversational, but also you can have a real person answering to those messages. Once a day, you can go to your Klaviyo or whatever platform you're using, and if there are any SMSs that were not responded to because they were quite unique or something like that, you can make the real person your maybe some specialist from your team to respond to those messages to make it even more valuable. So that's tip number 4. Last tip that I would give you guys, and this is probably the most important one, is the personalization. Personalize offer. Personalize your SMS experience in general. And when I say personalization, I don't just mean using the name in the SMS message, even though it's super, super important. So if you are not using a name, please go ahead and test it out. Use the name. It always brings higher click-through rates when people are seeing that you are addressing them directly, not just as a mass customer, but you're addressing them personally, right? When I say personalization, I mean do personalized offers. Do segment your list based on the product they have viewed, based on their products that they purchased in the past. Do cross-sales, do upsales based on their previous purchasing behavior, or based on their next purchases that are coming. Just remember that basically everything that you can do with segments with emails, you can do the same with SMS. And that's a mistake that a lot of marketers are doing when they first start sending SMSs. Even if your list is small, you can still slice it quite a bit, because not everyone on your list not everyone have the same needs, have the same interests and stuff like that. Everything that you can do with email list, you can do with SMS as well. No matter how big or small your SMS, no matter what returns you're getting, right away. Believe me, if you will be slicing your email or slicing your SMS list into smaller segments, it will bring you bigger returns over time. So here you have it, 5 tested and true strategies that we recommend using to all of our clients, that we are using with all of our clients, in fact, and try them today and you will see big return with this amazing channel that is called SMS marketing. So let me quickly revise them all again, just remind you this 5 tips so you can start using them today. Number 1, don't go over 160 characters. Ideally stay under, I'd say 140 characters. Very important. Tip number 1. Tip number 2, have SMS only exclusives. Don't forget to give your customers exclusive behind the scene look, exclusive sales and promotion, because these are your VIP people. These are people who are giving you a huge stamp of approval. You don't want to disappoint them. Tip number 3, send SMS on weekdays only. Weekends are off limits. That cute personal SMS in the middle of the night is off limits. Send SMS on weekdays only and during that window of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tip number 4, make SMS conversational, because this is a more personal means of conversation than, say, SMS. People do kind of expect it to be conversational, right? So make it conversational. And last but not least is personalize it, basically. Make it more personal with personalization in SMS and with personalized offer. Don't be afraid of segmenting your SMS list, no matter how big or small it is. There you have it. 5 tips. Go and test them out today. I'm sure you will like them and you will see a big results. So thank you for listening to this podcast, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. It was short, sweet, and to the point. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with people who you think might be interested in it. And next week we will be talking with one very exciting guest. We will be talking about personalization and improving your average order value. So you don't want to miss that. Honestly, the guests are super good. You've been using this Shopify app yourself, I'm sure. As always, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you here next week.
Hey, if you're watching this and you like what you see, please hit subscribe and hit the bell, because it helps us grow our channel.